Hey y'all, welcome back. Todd here again with HobbyLink TV, and it is time to take a look at another brand new release from Bandai Hobby. And yes, it is none other than the recently released real grade Zeong kit. So this kit was released in two different boxed variants, and there was the standard version as well as a rather fancy and cool looking last shooting set. So I actually, of course being me, I actually built the last shooting set because I was kind of curious to see all of the different effect parts that come with this thing. So we'll take a look at these things in a little bit, but first off, yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at the actual real grade Zeong itself. So what you're going to see here is basically what you will be able to, I think everything as far as the real grade itself go is exactly the same between the last shooting box and the standard non-last shooting real grade set. So I think the only thing different really is going to be these effect parts and some of those extra kind of display pieces. And there was a couple of other pieces I didn't realize were going to be in the box, which I was a little bit surprised, but we'll take a look at that in a little bit. First off, let's just go ahead and admire the Zeong as it rotates around on that turntable there. Doesn't it look just splendid? Look at those panel lines all around the skirt there and just around the body of the kit. And look at all the little details that we have up there on the arms, all that color separation. So all of the different colors you are seeing on this kit. So this is of course a real grade kit, so you're not really going to have to worry about those huge ugly kind of stickers like you do get for the high grade HG kits. Yeah, every single color you're seeing as this thing rotates around, these are parts that are actually just molded that way. They're molded in their colors, and it might be a little difficult to see on the camera because cameras tend to have a little bit difficult time trying to pick up the different colors, especially when it comes to purple. Purple is one of the most difficult colors to capture correctly on video. But yeah, there's different kinds of tones for the purple color here. Now it's a bit tricky to see, I think, maybe on video. I'm not sure exactly how well that's going to come out, but you can see here this bottom part on the chest is like a lighter shade of purple than the top part here. It's kind of maybe a bit more bluish, actually, kind of a purple blue type of color. But yeah, there's a couple of different colors of purple as far as that chest go, or blue, and then also there in that front part there on that waist, that's a different color purple there as well. And then for the grays, the bluish gray color pieces around the unit, there's also different colors, tones for that. You got the lighter kind of gray going on here, and then this piece here, you can kind of hopefully should be able to tell that that is a darker color than the rest of it. So we got the light, we got the darks. So that's really nice to see. And same with the headpiece up at the top, different color shades, different shades of gray going on there. So that's one of the great things about the real grade kits, is how they kind of engineer all these different colors pieces, and then once you get it all snapped together, put together, it looks just quite splendid, even without needing to paint it, even without needing to go into doing any kind of crazy detailing. Now another thing here, let's go on. So this is a real grade kit, and one of the things, if you've built a real grade kit before, you know that they have these pieces, some of the parts are going to be molded in, they have these special kind of runners that have two different types of plastic that are injection molded together, and that allows the pieces to be able to bend. Even though it was molded onto one runner, once you cut them off, then you would be able to bend them. Now in the older real grades, like the initial RX-78, the Zaku's, those pieces made up the inside of the legs and the arms and more of the inner frame parts, but they've been more creative as to what that runner goes towards for some of the latest real grade releases, and that's going to be the same for this guy here. So for him, what is going to be the parts that are molded in those the two different types of plastic molded in one sandwich runner thing is not going to be anything to do with his inner frame or even with the arms. That is going to be, I'm going to steal him for a second here, that is going to be the hands. So the hands for this guy are going to be that cool type of two different plastics molded together here, and then they are going to be able to articulate. You're able to bend these fingers here. Let me see if I can try to bend it. So of course in the manual, if you've ever built a real grade kit before, the manual always instructs you before you put this thing together to pre-bend those pieces there so you don't break them when you actually have it built together. But yeah, you'll be able to bend these fingers, and you can do kind of cool poses however you would like to do for this guy. He does only have, I guess the same as a human hand. So if you want to do him in like a posing where he's flicking everybody off, then that is something you could do. That is your prerogative. So yeah, rather cool looking hands there. Let's try and keep him on camera here. So nicely detailed, and it's nice that these fingers can actually articulate. So really, really cool looking hands. So this kit, being that it does not have legs, instead it has the thrusters on the underside there, is a little bit more lacking in terms of articulation from what you get from standard type of mobile suits. But speaking of the legs, and I think I'll go ahead and remove this from the stand here for a second so I can show off the underside. So Zeong, of course, is famous. He doesn't have legs. He has these thrusters on the underside here, and it was a bit hard to see while it was rotating around there on the turntable, but these thrusters have just splendid, fantastic details going on. Just look at that. So you've got the color, the red engine bells on the inside, which get sandwiched in these dark blue type of color pieces as well. So that just looks really, 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 really great. And then you can see just the different, there's a couple other pieces molded in red, but there was one other really cool thing on these engine bells on the front part here, which you can't actually see. Let me see if I can remember how this thing. So another thing is the skirt pieces for this thing, they have the ability to kind of bend out, fold out. Let me see if I can remember how that goes though. Let's open this thing up a little bit here so we can get a better look at kind of the inside up in here. Now, one cool thing that I saw for this unit here. All right, so I got this engine bell thing pulled off here, and there's kind of two cool things that I really wanted to show off. So the engine bell here, so I showed off, it's got the red plastic pieces molded in there for all these different little engine thruster things. But then also, as we rotate this around, and this is really, really hard to see when it is actually completely put together, if you were to look up under the skirt, you can kind of see that there is some red going on up here too. That's actually not a plastic piece. That is, they give you this red, like an electric type wire inside the box, and you have to cut the wire to specific length, and then you sandwich it inside of the plastic here, and that's just to give you this little bit of extra type of color detail going on around this engine. That's just something that you can just barely see once it is actually put together. So that kudos to Bandai for doing that, because it looks quite fantastic, really great, I think. And it was just an extra awesome feature that I found while building this kit that they have included. And this is going to be, of course, for both sides here. Actually, I can kind of show you here. So yeah, once this thing is put together, you can kind of barely see it up there. I mean, without the light, it's really going to be hard to see. So it's kind of funny that they would go through the hassle of actually trying to engineer this and include it inside of the kit. So that was just something fun, I thought. Something interesting. Definitely interesting. All right, the other thing that I saw or noticed when I was putting this thing together. So if you know the Zeong very well, then you also know that there is a second type of Zeong, or a more advanced, completed version of the Zeong, called the Perfect Zeong. So the Perfect Zeong, as I have here on the standard Zeong, there is no legs. It just uses the jet engines, the thrusters underneath, and that's how this thing is able to move around. He's just missing his top side here. But the Perfect Zeong actually has legs. So one thing that I noticed when I was building this kit, and this is where these larger engine pieces are connected to the body here, is it has a standard leg connection type of joint going on here in the underside of the skirt, the hip, or I'm not sure exactly what this would be classified as. But yeah, and then these are able to, just like we see on other real grade kits, these actually have the ability maybe I'm not going to push too hard on it, but this should be able to kind of slide up and down. It should be able to articulate. We see that on regular kits that have actual legs, so it makes me wonder, at least it makes me hopeful, I should say, that maybe someday in the future, who knows, I'm just speculating, I'm just guessing, that maybe someday we will get a real grade perfect Zeong. That would be my dream, my hope, whether it be regular release or if it would be something that they would sell on their online exclusive store, who knows. But I mean, it is a possibility because you could just connect regular old legs to this joint here instead of these engine bells. So there is that option is there at some point in the future should they ever choose to do so. So exciting things, because the perfect Zeong, now if they actually do ever make a real grade perfect Zeong, this guy would definitely be the largest real grade kit in the lineup at that point. Unfortunately, we never ever got, even though they had a HG Zeong kit, when that's a rather old kit at this point, even though we got the HG Zeong kit, they never ever brought us a HG 1144 scale HG perfect Zeong. We got one in the master grade lineup, and that kit seems to be getting a little bit difficult to find lately. I don't know if they don't put it back into production so often, maybe because it's so large it's a bit hard for them to keep in stock, but that kit does exist. There's a master grade version of the perfect Zeong, but there is no 1144 scale HG size version of the perfect Zeong. So it'd be rather interesting, I think, if we were to get a real grade version of that kit before an HG ever existed. So hopefully, at least I'm hopeful. I'm rather excited if that does come out at some point. I did forget to mention, actually, looking at the underside of this skirt here, I should have looked at this first. These other smaller engines here, they do have the ability to kind of rotate around, and you can kind of pose and you can kind of articulate these engines here. All of them are going to be on individual joints up underneath the skirt, and you can kind of move them around from side to side as well as bend them up and down. So if you'd like to pose these underside engines in different positions, then that you can do that. And you'll notice there are 5 engines here in the backside, but when Bandai manufactures these things, it's easier for them to do it in even numbers than odd numbers, so they can have 2 runners of the same, like 2 H runners. I don't remember exactly what the runner number was, but they can do 2 identical runners. It's probably easier for them to manufacture it that way. So actually there is a 6th complete engine that was included with this kit. So if you ever lose an engine, then you have a spare. Or if you just like to keep a spare engine to display on your desk, then that is included. It's a rather decent size, I would say, maybe 2 centimeters tall or so. So looks quite cool. If you follow SpaceX at all on YouTube, you've been watching the development of the Starship and the Raptor engine that they have developed. It kind of reminds me, it kind of looks quite similar to what I have been seeing in those SpaceX videos and live streams of the Raptor engines when they get removed and installed on the Starship prototype vehicles down there in Texas. Reminds me, kind of looks a bit similar, I would say. So that's kind of quite cool. I just wanted to point that out. All right, let me plug this engine back into the underside here, and we'll continue our look at the kit. All right, I guess I should mention also that these front skirts can be kind of twisted out of the way, and when these front skirts are twisted out of the way, you do kind of see that red wire piece on the upper side of these large engine bells, so it's a bit easier to see once you have those pieces kind of folded open there. So that's quite cool. Just really love the detail that they did for the engines and all the underside pieces here for this Zeong kit. Quite fantastic. All right, and to just take a quick peek at some of these photos inside of the instruction manual here. Now I noticed usually Bandai does kind of give us both the Japanese and the English, but for some reason this text here for these images, they did not do that, but it kind of is just showing off how you can fold some of those skirt pieces away to show the underside there, what I was basically showing off. But if you would like to see how Bandai has done it in their images here, if you want to have some ideas for how to display this kit, then here you go. This is included in the instruction manual, and it does show off the headpiece here. It does show that mono eye has the ability to rotate around. You can rotate it from side to side, or you can even rotate it kind of up there into the actual more top part of the head, so you can rotate that mono eye around. So a couple of different hatches that you can open up as well in the chest, as well as the back of the head itself. All right, so for articulation, so no legs to worry about. And the arms, what you're going to get for the arms on this guy is pretty much standard. There's really not a lot to kind of write home about. You're able to rotate them kind of forward and back a little bit, and he is able to get these arms upstretched at about a good 90-degree angle from the body itself, and he should be able to rotate them in front of him. Not too bad. And I've already showed off the fingers, so you're able to independently pose the different fingers if you would like to do so. That's kind of quite cool. So the arms are what they are. Kind of, it's I don't know what else you would really want, what you could expect to have from arm articulation. You can pose the arms pretty much however you would like. So the chest and the torso for this unit as well. There is an independent joint there in the center of the torso that allows you to bend him back or bend it forward depending on how you want. And then there is that little door that you should be able to open up. Which way does it open up? It opens up that direction, and you can see on the inside, although there's really nothing much on the inside of that thing at all. So the head unit here, you'll notice that the bottom part of that neck there where it connects to the chest also articulates, and then we have the joint for the neck itself that articulates as well. So he has, not many of these kits actually have the ability to kind of look straight down like that. That's kind of an interesting look, but this guy does. He's got probably one of the best neck articulations, I guess, out there. So the head, of course, the head piece here, we've got those nice clear plastic pieces there, and you can see the mono eye on the inside. And the mono eye, as I showed in the images from the manual, you will be able to rotate it from left to right or up into the actual head pieces here. So that's something that I think was shown in the actual anime itself. So they've produced it to show that same detail as we saw. Let's take a look at the back side of the head, and here's that little mini door that we should be able to open up. Really nothing on the inside here either, but you are able to open that up. And so yeah, the head also has these red antennas on the side. They look quite nice. And of course we've got these little extra pieces here on the side, and I do believe, if my memory serves me right, that it's hard to see it here, but these things actually, you can bend them back or you can bend them forward a little bit. It's a bit hard to do so because they're such tiny pieces, but yeah, you can kind of pose these little side thrusters on his head, so that's quite cool to see as well. It's a rather nice looking head. Real grade kits are just always fantastic. And then down here on the bottom side of his chest, these pieces here have the ability to articulate as well, and that's going to be the same for the back of the unit. These should be able to articulate out just ever so slightly, and not only that, but the pieces that kind of cover that, you can see this one's slightly cracked open there while it's closed on the other side, so you're able to pose these doors kind of around these smaller engines on the back and the front. You can do that as well, so quite fantastic. All right, so I think that's pretty much all I wanted to look at as far as the unit, the Zeong itself goes. This kit does come, and now this is included with the actual standard real grade as well. So the standard real grade, you're going to get these 3 different display bases as well as the arm to display him on. Being that he has no legs, this is kind of a kit that really does require you to have a display base. So they have thankfully included one for this kit. All right, so now you can see get a full view of that display base there. And before we get into some other stuff, here's something I wanted to show off. This kit does have a full sticker sheet. I think did I use one? I kind of remember it called out to use one. That would be the mono eye. So it called out to use this pink sticker here for the mono eye, but other than that, I didn't use any of the other stickers that were included with this set. I don't recall the manual actually calling you out to install any of these stickers, so if you want to put the stickers on, then you can do so. Another thing, although I did mention this kit does come with a display base, if you would like to install this guy kind of sitting on his own, it does actually include landing gear. So you would be able to, there should be some doors on the underside of there, and you're able to pull those pieces off. And then you can connect these kind of landing gear legs to the underside of the body, under the skirt, and put the plastic piece that you pulled off from the underside, that would be like the foot, would be considered the foot of the landing gear. You should be able to put that on there. And then this guy should be able to stand on his own. If you wanted to display it for some reason without that display stand, you should be able to install these landing gear there. So that's kind of quite cool to see as well. And what else do we have? This kit. So the standard kit also, in addition to this display stand and the arm to hold up the unit itself, it comes with 2 runners here with these extra display arms. Those are upside down. And there you go. You got these 2 arms here, and you should be able to install them on the display stand in the holes. They should fit right in. I think one of them is going to be turned the wrong way. I'm not sure which one. So then when you have this installed, you will be able to take the arms off, and you can do, I'm just going to steal the instruction manual here, and you will be able to remove the arms from the arm socket. And it's hard to see there, but this kit does come with these 2 black wires included. So you will be able to connect the wire to the arm here and then to the hand piece, and the hand will be able to connect to those little kind of connecting arms there on the display stand. So you can do these rather cool looking poses with the arms disconnected if you would like to do so. That's rather awesome. All right, so that is included with the standard edition. So I think everything up to this point is what is included with just the base standard edition. I haven't covered anything yet from the last shooting set. So let's go ahead and start taking a look now at the last shooting set. Actually, if you want to see the back of the instruction manual, there you've got your color guide for how to paint the kit if you would like to do so, or the location for the marking stickers if you'd like to put the stickers on the kit. That's included there. All right, so it's time. It is time indeed to start taking a look at the last shooting set stuff. So for the last shooting box kit, we've got this separate instruction manual here. This is just printed in straight up black and white, no color for this one. And it's just going to show you how to assemble all of the little effect pieces. They're rather simple, rather easy to put together. Most of it was just 2 pieces. That's all it is, 2 pieces sandwiched together. You get a couple of different things going on here. Actually, I just realized I think I didn't put those pieces together yet. But yeah, you'll take this clear piece and sandwich it into a yellow piece, and more of these sandwiches together. And we'll also have this cool looking kind of beam saber thing that's going to be able to plug into his mouth, because you might not have been able to see it there, but he does have this little gray piece there. I think you might be able to plug something into that. I'm actually not quite sure looking at that. Doesn't look like it had a hole. And then we have the 2 doors for the backdrop for the display base there. And then it has a number of beam saber parts that you're going to be able to plug into the holes on his fingers there. And of course we've got the guide for how to do this, with how to pose this thing in the last shooting scene, include using a RX-78, and this is going to use a real grade RX-78. So and there we have the back side of the manual. Is going to show all the pieces that are going to be used for this. So you've got a number of pieces, especially from here, which are not going to be used at all. So you're going to end up with some spare parts. So thankfully, I do have a real grade. This thing's getting a bit noisy. I do have a real grade RX-78 handy here, so we'll be able to use this. So if I'm not able to do this correctly here for this video, I hopefully will be able to get it done for the pictures that will be up on this post on our HobbyLink.tv blog. So whenever we do these reviews, whenever we take a close look at the kits, we always include some pictures. We take a number of pictures, different poses, and you can always look at those pictures on the blog for the videos on the HobbyLink.tv blog. So definitely be sure to check out those photos. Those photos are usually taken by a one of my coworkers here. His name is Mr. Ohide, and he is a great artist, and he takes fantastic photos. He's also a fan of Gundam as well, so he's quite a bit better at posing these things than I am. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and crack open this bag. I've just dumped everything into one bag, so give me 1 second. So now I have gone ahead and connected a number of the different effect parts that come included with this set. So we've got those at the bottom, underneath, on the underside there, we have those different kind of jet thruster effects going on. So you got large ones for the front, the large front thrusters, as well as smaller ones for the back thrusters. And then I went ahead, because I wanted to show off the effect part that they include for the arm flying there, I went ahead and I connected the wire. I didn't do it very fancy. So I took off the arm, I connected the wire that comes included with the standard set to the arm that is now standing remotely on that little attachment piece there, and I put on that effect part that they include to show the arm flying in motion. There you can kind of see the back side of the arm there as it rotates around. So there, that effect part is included with this kit. And then on his right hand, I have now they're basically, I think it's pretty much the exact same piece that you would find with the exact same effect piece that you get with the beam sabers in a lot of these HG and even RG kits maybe. So they give you a number of these beam saber effect parts, and you just plug them straight into the fingers, and you'll be able to pose them around however you want. So these are going to be all of the effects if you would like to put the Zeong into this kind of pose, if you were to be able to buy the last shooting effect set. So unfortunately, it's as of now, when I am recording this video, the last shooting version of this kit is no longer available on our site. So, but some of these effect pieces are standard effect pieces that you would be able to find in other effect sets. So you might be able to kind of jerry rig something up on your own if you would like to try to do that. But hopefully, I'm hopeful, since none of this stuff is really that limited, hopefully at some point Bandai will do a second production run of the last effect shooting boxing for this kit if you missed out on the chance. Hopefully at some point in the future you will be able to buy it again, so that's rather quite cool. All right, so the next effect we are going to take a look at is going to be the iconic last shooting effect scene, or the last shooting scene. So I'm going to take the real grade RX-78 Gundam that I have here, and let me go ahead and steal the manual here. So this is kind of cool. I mentioned at the very beginning of this video there were some parts included with this set I didn't realize were there. Even though we did the unboxing for the kit, I just never noticed or didn't realize what they were exactly for. This kit comes with extra pieces for the actual RG 1144th RX-78 as well. So I didn't realize that was going to be the case. I didn't realize they were going to be in here. But yeah, so of course for this scene from the animation, he loses his head, he loses an arm. Actually, that works in my favor, because for the RX-78 that I have, he's missing some armor here on the top side of his left arm, and that's going to be the one that will get removed anyways. Oh wait, actually no, it still should have at least that shoulder part on there. Oh darn, I thought it was going to be perfect since I didn't have to get a replacement piece for that plastic, but oh well. But in any case, yeah, so you remove an arm and twist up one hand, and you should have this kind of, it comes with this damaged type piece. Let me find it here. Where did that go? It's just so many different pieces included with this kit. There it is. Okay. So here we go. So it has this piece here, which you're going to be able to plug into that empty socket, and that will be able to show the arm in a damaged state. So that's kind of rather quite cool. And then of course you got the piece here, which is going to plug into the neck, which is now missing a head. Focus. So that's kind of quite cool. They have this extra damaged neck piece included with this kit. So I didn't really expect that this kit would have pieces for the RX-78 as well. So of course this set does not include the RX-78, the real grade RX-78. You're going to have to buy that separately on its own. I think they just did a reproduction run not that long ago. I think it's back in stock if you would like to get it. It's been available for a while maybe. And it also includes an extra hand, a hand with a trigger finger for the RX-78 as well. So that's another cool feature. And then we've got some of these other kind of effect pieces as well as those display background pieces here. So let me go ahead and try to set this up and see if I can recreate this famous iconic scene. All right, so there we have it. We have it all set up now in this iconic last shooting scene, which you can build if you were able to buy the last shooting Zeong effect set here. So that looks rather cool, doesn't it? So we popped off the head for the RX-78, popped off the arm. I'm missing a few other pieces there on the arm, but it's okay. And just pose that hand up, and I do have the brand new hand that comes included with this kit equipped onto it then. And they get these cool red effect parts which are limited for this kit. These are brand new. All of the red effect parts for this kit are specific for this set according to the runner. So it hasn't been used in anything else, and that looks rather cool. So there's a little connection peg that they give you to plug in the head to the back of the display base there, so it's just looks like it's actually floating up there at the top, but it's actually connected by a peg, and you get this little effect part for the explosion on the side of his helmet. And yeah, that looks rather cool, don't you think? Isn't that just awesome? Let me see if I can move this a bit closer here. There we have the RX-78, and you can see the detail there for that damaged neck piece once you get that installed, as well as the damage there for the side of the arm. And then we have the brand new hand piece that's included with this set there, connected to the gun. And we can see the effect parts moving on up. And there we go. And there's the real grade Zeong head. And I guess it's a bit crooked there, but oh well. And that cool side exploding head piece. And then you can see the connecting arm for that head to the back of the display stand, as well as the arm that is currently holding up that yellow effect part as it's shooting down towards the RX-78. So there you go, there you have it. That is going to be it for our look at the real grade Zeong, as well as the real grade Zeong effect set. So hopefully we'll be able to do some rather cool poses for the photos that will be included on the hobbylink.tv blog post for this video. So definitely be sure to check that out and leave a comment for Mr. Ohide, thanking him for fantastic photos as usual. So I think I'm definitely going to wrap this one up. If you're watching this far into the video and you are not subscribed already, then I don't know what you are doing. You've obviously liked this stuff and want to see more if you've made it this far. I think this video is like over 30 minutes, at least what I've recorded. Who knows what it'll be after editing. But thank you guys very much for sticking with us here and watching this whole video. So the next thing that I am going to personally be building is this rather cool looking kit from, not from Bandai, but from Good Smile in the Motoroid lineup. If you know the RoboCop movie, then I will be building a ED-209, which is a famous robot from that RoboCop series. So I'm looking forward to getting that thing put together. And that's going to do it. Almost coming up to the month of March here for 2021. So 2021 is just kind of jamming through. It seems like it just started. Oh well. Well, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you later.